Hello and welcome to Texans Talk Money. I'm Kyla, your host and a peer financial coach at Texan Smart. Every episode, we will be joined by another peer financial coach from my office, where we will be navigating all the roads on how to handle your money as a college student. So sit back and get your wallets ready to be Texan Smart.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Addison, and welcome back to Texans Talk Money. Today, we are joined by our returning PFCs, Ean and Willem. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing glad to be in a new year.
Yes, it is the beginning of a new semester. We've been in classes for about a week and a half now. And no, it's about 2 weeks now. But today, we are going to be talking about setting financial goals in the new year. And you know, everybody talks about their New Year's resolutions, like going and working out more or going to sleep at a normal time, setting screen times. But I don't think a lot of people think about doing financial goals or financial New Year's resolutions. So that's kind of what we're going to dive into today.
Right.
So why is setting a financial goal so important, and why should we set financial goals?
Setting goals is just, for your money. It gives you something to work towards, and such as saving up for items if you got to buy a car or something along those lines. Gets rid of a lot of your unnecessary spending, such as spending too much money on groceries or spending too much money on your subscriptions and stuff like that.
Yeah, so just it kind of helps you cut back on maybe just buying, the random things like, oh, I want a little snack. Well, do you have something that you've already paid for that you could have a snack for instead of going and buying a new snack? Or even, do you have food that you can make to eat instead of going out and spending money on something to eat? And if you're saving up to buy a car, like, you can find ways to properly save up money without feeling like you can't spend any money at all. And also just keeping track of how much money you have and not, throwing it all away. So if you don't set goals, you're going to lose sight of what is more important, like where your priorities lie with your money. And you don't want to, like I said, throw away your money. You want to have those goals that way,
Yeah, because when I'm not spending money, I'm thinking, oh, I just save. But when I actually have this goal I'm working towards, I'm like, oh, that $8 coffee, that's actually $8 toward my vacation.
Yeah.
And then I have that priority. And then I feel like I'm saving money, not just, oh, yeah, some more money, but I'm actually closer to going to where I want to go.
So how do you start setting a financial goal? That's a good question, right? So where do you even start? So there's actually a framework for it called SMART.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So if you didn't catch that, SMART is the abbreviation of all those words put together. So it's an acronym. And so you pretty much just start at specific. So what is your goal? Make your goal and have all the details for it and what exactly you want to do, whether it be saving up for a car, or the example we're going to be using today is an emergency fund. So let's say I want to save $2,000 in an emergency fund. Just hypothetically, I feel like I need to have $2,000 set aside.
Emergency.
And I just need it set aside because who knows, maybe I'll get a couple parking tickets because I don't want to have to walk as far to class, so I'm going to park in the wrong lot or, whatever it may be. So how do we go about it after that?
Like the next step?
Yeah.
I guess to make it measurable, you just want to keep track of all you're going to do and just watch it continually and assess it as you go on, and then just make it measurable as you track it. Like, oh, I want $2,000. Well, when is that going to happen? Let me set a date. If I want $2,000 before March 31st, then I have that measurable goal to work towards.
Yeah, and the next thing would be after you have your measurable goal, like what Ian said, March 31st, you'd make that goal achievable. Like, what are the realistic things I'm going to do to obtain this goal? So the example would be saving $500 per month towards your emergency fund. Some people can't do $500, but It could be 250, or it could be anything along those lines. Or if you don't want to do 500 in a whole month, you could do 150 a week or something along that to make your goal achievable.
Yeah, find your small milestones. So, like 500 sounds like a lot, but when you're looking at it in the span of a month, you can break that down to, well, how much would I need to save in like 4 weeks to get to that 500 at the end of the month. So that can break down your goal, and that helps you keep a better track of it, and probably makes it feel more achievable and less unrealistic, which takes me to the next point, which is relevant. So align your goal with your financial priorities and financial means. So obviously our hypothetical example for today may be a little bit unrealistic for most. I know it's not realistic for me, but make it something that you can actually save up for. You want, like, how you want it to be measurable. So give yourself a time frame that would actually work. Don't say I want to save up $1,000 in a month if you only get, $500 a month, because you're not going to be able to save up that much money, because that's just it's not realistic. So you want to make it, you actually want it to be within your ability to make that goal. Like saying, oh, I want to put $100 out of my paycheck each month into a savings account. That would be within your financial means. And don't just make a goal that's like, I want to save up $500 so I can go on this giant shopping spree. I mean, if that's a priority of yours, sure, go ahead. But maybe think about something. Do I have to pay car insurance? Do I have to pay rent? Like, am I about to move into an apartment where I have to pay rent and it's not just, room and board for school that gets paid for by scholarships or something? So think about things like that. Don't just think about, I just want money to spend. Because I know I'm like that. I get my paycheck and I'm like, I'm rich. I can go buy whatever I want now. Yeah. But in a couple months, I have to own an apartment and I'm going to have to pay bills. And I really need to start doing some of this financial goals myself. And so it's just one of those things. Break it down. Do you want to save for a vacation, or would you rather be saving up for that emergency fund or like a bills account?
Yeah.
So then the next thing would be time bound. Set a clear deadline.
So this is the T in our
yes,
SMART acronym?
This is the T.
Time bound, okay.
So kind of ties in with the measurable. You want to save by March 31st. So that would be more of, you can break that down to a milestone, right? Mm-hmm. Your time bound is when you want to have that. Like, I have to have that much saved up by this time because I need it for this. Like, if you
to the
are
mall this day and the deal's over March 31st,
yes.
I need that money.
I'm going on this vacation on March 31st, so I need this much money or whatever you're saving up for by this date because you have to pay for something.
You have to buy your apartment.
I have to buy my apartment.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just put the $2,000 in there on March 31st, because then you have no more money for your bills. So.
Yep, and then I'm gonna be screwed, and I'm gonna be on the side of the road.
It's
okay. Yeah. So those are the SMART goal. That's the SMART goals framework, and I like it because it breaks it down to make it more understandable and easier to follow, and it gives you a path to follow.
And you sound smart.
You do sound smart.
Yep.
You sound Texan Smart. We should rename it the Texan Smart framework.
Texan Smart.
But then, so we use the example of emergency fund, right?
Yeah.
So obviously not everybody needs an emergency fund, but
Smart to have, though.
it is smart to have. You maybe don't need $2,000, but maybe a couple hundred, if you get, like I said, got that parking ticket because you don't want to walk to class or anything like that. But what are some other financial goals that we could consider?
One of them is debt repayment. So if you did go a little crazy on your credit card in December for them Christmas gifts, you could pay off any debt you have or set money aside to hopefully pay that debt off as fast as you can so you can get rid of it. Because then, let's say you're having to pay off $100 that you blew on your mom's Christmas gift. You can pay that off, and then the next month, that $100 that you would have put towards your debt payment, it can go towards your emergency fund or your vacation to Vegas or something like that. So that's one of the things you could repay.
A goal I like is to invest for the future. So every paycheck I get, I usually put everything I don't need into my savings after my bills. And that way it's not just, it's not your checking account, you're building interest, but it's also invested, and that savings is almost its bill in itself.
Yeah.
It's because I'm giving that money to that thing.
That way when you graduate, whenever you do graduate, you can buy a house, or you want a new car, you can do that, and you're like,
Yes.
already saved for it in college.
I know that's not, you don't even have to think about it in the sense of so far along. It could just be like a year span. I want to save up this much money so that I can have this, like I can go buy this new thing, like I want to buy the new phone when it comes out. Well, you can start saving that up, and then just whatever you have left over, you can keep in there for your next big purchase. Your next big purchase. Just think about it that way. It doesn't always have to be this big investment, like, investing in stocks or anything like that. But it can just be investing in for when you make your big purchases. Like I like to call them my big girl purchases. Like when I'm go to buy a car, like that's what I'm doing with a lot of my extra money that I get. I'm saving it so I can buy a car, have my first big girl purchase. And so that kind of rolls into the budgeting and tracking your spending. That's my favorite, and that is my goal for this year, is to be better at budgeting and making sure I'm not overspending, because, you get into, this rabbit hole of online shopping, and then you have a huge Amazon cart, and you're out $200. So just implement something, like a method that keeps you from spending bukus of money.
So what are you going to do?
I like the envelope method, which it's probably not what I'm going to do because I don't carry cash on me as much anymore. As a college student, you're on campus a lot, so you're not carrying around a wallet all the time. Or at least I'm not as a girl. But so the envelope method was the first one that I learned. And you label these different envelopes with things like, let's just say, for example, bills, groceries, entertainment, and emergency. So let's just say that you have, like $500, right? So you could split that evenly amongst the envelopes, or think about it in the logical sense of what is, those financial priorities and financial means. So maybe you don't need an emergency fund, but you're thinking maybe it's not that bad of an idea to put some to the side in case my parents say, well, I need you to pay for that parking ticket you got. Yeah. So you're like, okay, well, I have this $150 that I've kept on the side. Here's what I can give to you from that. And then, if you're a college student, you have to buy some of your own groceries sometimes. So maybe you put $50 in an envelope for that. And then for your entertainment, you put $100 in there because, it's not that cheap to be entertained anymore. And have an envelope for gas as well. So then that's already, put maybe $100 in there. So you already have $300 right there set aside. And then that extra $200 you can put into bills if you do pay bills. Or you can split it amongst what you already have, or just a savings. And just be like, this is my extra floating money that I can use for whatever I feel. My what?
Mad money?
Yeah, my mad money.
My grandpa used to use that a lot.
Spend it on whatever you feel is necessary, even though I probably shouldn't spend any more money. And then if that's not your thing, like you don't carry cash, so it's kind of hard to do the envelope method, you can use apps like Mint Mobile, or if your bank has an app, I know mine does, so I can go in. And after I've made a purchase, if I knew it was like $175, I can go in and be like, I should probably check how much is left on my bank account.
I get snapshots.
You get snapshots. I go in and then I get disappointed in myself. So I'm like, that was not very Texan Smart of me, because I just dropped a bunch of money and now I can't spend any money until I get paid again because there's nothing left. Down to the cents.
Backtracking real quick, I thought of an idea. The emergency saving, you can use that. So, right now, some of us are parents still kind of help us out. Like if I get laid off or lose my job at Texan Smart, I don't have that money anymore. And so you can, a lot of people do like 6 months of your income and what your bills are those months. So it's more useful when you become an adult and you actually have a mortgage and you have a car payment and stuff like that. You set aside
Yep.
6 months of pay, or if you do get laid off from your job, you know you can live comfortably for 6 months and look for a job. So you can start that now, or if you do have a job and you do have bills you need to pay, set aside 3, 6 months, 9 months. I think they recommend 6 months of pay to be able to pay those things if you do lose your job, or if I get fired from Texan Smart, which won't happen, I hope.
A buffer without income.
I don't know. Well, I'm just kidding. But another thing is maybe save up for books. I know I just had to buy a book. I was telling Ian I had to buy a book that was $115. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? So maybe set aside $200 for that every semester if you can, or just find your spare change in the
Keep it in your
floorboards
budget.
of your car that you can scrounge up when you're having to buy some book that you'll probably touch twice, but and then here's listen up. This is a good section. How do you stay accountable and measure your progress? So I kind of already touched on this, but breaking your goals into smaller steps. Well, what does that mean? Well, so basically you have this goal of saving up $2,000 in the first 5 months of the year, let's just say, okay? Maybe break it down to how much you should be saving up a month or every week. So you could say that you want to put $165 in your savings account each month if you're trying to save $2,000 by the end of the year.
Okay.
So you would roughly put aside $165 into your savings account every month, or you could break it down more than that, which I can't do the math right now. But so every time you get a paycheck, just do that internal transfer of $165, or whatever is financially responsible. Don't put your whole paycheck in there, because obviously you want to spend some money.
Kind of hungry sometimes.
Yeah, I get hungry, especially when D Hall's not open on Sundays and you're
Sundays. Yeah.
And then track your progress regularly. Always watch how much you're maybe overspending. If you're spending a little bit too much, are you actually putting $165 away? Did you remember to do it? Did you skip a week of putting so much in your bank account? Whatever it may be. Just make sure you can use a spreadsheet. You can use an app.
Excel is amazing.
Excel's good. Just keep tabs on it, especially if you're doing debt repayment. Keep tabs on that. Don't go from paying only $50 back 1 month to doing $500, because then you're just digging a hole that's going in about 50,000 directions, and it's never going to get you anywhere, because you don't have a proper pace to keep yourself at. It's one of those where the SMART framework comes into play. Make it measurable.
A lot of banks have a
relevant.
What's it called? Auto draft, or where it automatically pulls it out of your bank
automatic
account.
withdrawals.
Yeah, so that automatically you can set that at the beginning of this year, $165 each month on the 30th, or I don't know, whatever date you want. Auto pulls it out to your savings account, and you don't got to worry about it. It makes it a little easier.
And then because you break it down so much, celebrate your small wins. So if you're able to save up, to your halfway mark, maybe go treat yourself with that little extra money that you just kind of have floating around. Go out, go see a movie, go buy yourself like a nice new sweater or something. Go buy you some nice shoes. Don't go buy $200 pair of shoes, but maybe like a good $50 pair. Or
I
even
know where you get your shoes.
Huh?
Yeah, I could not
A
find
good
$50
$50 pair of shoes.
Well, you
Nowadays-
go to like Target or
Okay.
something. Like, oh, I really need a nice, I know for me when it comes to going to my chapter meetings, I'm like, oh, I wish I had this pair of heels, but I don't have them.
I just wanted to know who your shoe cobbler was.
That or
'cause
Amazon.
Amazon's amazing.
Amazon's so good. That's a good way to be Texan Smart. Go to Amazon. Don't go to your name brand stores.
Black Friday deals is where it's at for the
Yeah,
next
no
month.
one's
Oh
the deals
yeah,
are.
Prime Day deals.
Someday.
Prime Day deals. And this is a lesser known one, and it's probably good for anyone whose, parents probably still help them with some of their finances, especially if you're someone who has your parents help you pay for your apartment or something, is having an accountability partner. So tell someone about your goals. Tell a friend, tell a parent, mentor, someone that you talk to regularly that you're comfortable sharing how much money you have, your finances, and like any of your personal expenses or anything. Find someone that's going to positively influence your habits.
I really like this one because I'm trying to go to Canada right after school's over.
Dang, that's sick.
Yeah, and all my friends know this. So every time I buy some, they're like, are you still going to have enough money to go to Canada? And so they have that constant reminder of, oh, wait, I have to save if I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah. My parents, I have some money set off to the side, and every time I ask them if I can have a little bit of it, because they're the ones that have access to it. I am not allowed to touch it. I have to ask them for it, which I like because it keeps me from spending all my money. But every time I ask them, like around Christmas, I was like, hey, can I get like $300 to, buy everybody some gifts? And they were like, 300? Aren't you like saving up for a car? And I'm like, yeah, but this is like one of the only times I'm going to be asking for this much, other than like when I'm buying books or something like that. So someone that can, call you out if you're maybe spending a little too much.
And just talk to you about it.
Check in, like have like a time, like maybe the first of the month, they ask you like, hey, how's your progress on that goal of yours? Like your budgeting, are you staying on budget? And have them just make sure that you're being financially responsible and Texan smart, as always.
Yes. Don't blow all your money on the first day of the year.
Willem's whatnots.
Yeah.
Don't blow
Willem's
all your money on the
whatnots.
first day of the year. Spend less money at the dance halls.
Don't go to the Twist and spend all your money on the thousands of merchandise from the different performers like me.
Maybe go to one concert a year,
Maybe.
or a month. A year's kind of.
Year is a long
a
time.
year is really, that's some serious self-control at that point. But
Yeah, that is.
yeah, Hudson Westbrook was just in town and I spent too much money.
Ooh.
But that's okay.
Hey, but that's a once in a month thing. You
That
treated yourself
is.
because you reached your goals.
So
And
budget for
I'm
it.
not spending any more money this month after that. So
The month's almost over. We're so
it's
close.
okay. It's okay. And then I can spend a couple more
Does that count as
starting Saturday.
an emergency fund? Concerts? Are those
Yeah.
emergency? Okay.
No, it's not. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to that. Listen to everything else I said but that.
Okay.
But so I wish everybody luck on their financial goals this semester or this year, whatever your goals may be. And I wish everybody a very happy spring semester. And remember, be well, be ready, and be Texan Smart.